Alright, welcome back everybody. Some more Genshin Impact. Are we? Dun 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 dun. Yep. Sounds good to me. So yeah, I want to first go ahead and quickly although does it matter? Hold on. For not gonna get this and this. You know what? I don't need. I will just do that later on then. So let's go ahead and continue with Shimmering Memories. That sounds like as good as place then. So yeah, we'll be pretty much going over them in probably gonna just do them in order. So yeah, if I have a quick look at the available story quests, we have a bunch still to go. I'm not gonna make it through all of them, but we have like, we need to finish this one, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left to go before we're out of anything really. Dun, dun. But this day we do get to stay up to date with all the quests. Also, see what's over here. Launcher update. Sure.
All
Maybe.
of this,
Mm-hmm.
it's unbelievable. I can't believe that those stories were real. It all really happened. Has the
Mm-hmm.
world gone mad?
I think you and I both feel the same way about the profound tragedy of Melusa's loss. And the sheer depravity of Marcel's actions.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
Yep.
Mr. Marcel would always stand by the Spina. Everything he had, the Spina gave to him. It's unconscionable to have received all that, and yet still plot to kidnap and dissolve you for his insane research.
The good news is that the Confrérie of Cabriere is no more. Gone with them too is the entire synth manufacturing and distribution network. We finally closed the curtain on that long struggle.
Yep.
Are you sure? But if Marcel wanted to rebel against us, he probably sent word in secret to Romeu.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the thing.
Romu?
Probably another guy who's bad
Not a name
news.
I've heard before either.
Florent should remember him. You see, there was once a major internal dispute regarding funding the construction of the Aquabus lines. Romeu was the leader of the faction that thought such a vast sum of mora would be better spent improving the town of Poisson. But Mr. Callis believed that an opportunity to collaborate with the Court of Fontaine and the Fontaine Research Institute was hard to come by, and would allow us to build many valuable relationships. Not only would the Aquabus be a good business investment, it would also boost our reputation among the general populace, eventually paying us massive dividends down the line. But the two couldn't come to an agreement. Romeu ended up taking a lot of people with him when he left Spino di Rosula altogether, and the split was on extremely bad terms.
Ugh. And with Papa's stubbornness, I can definitely imagine how it must have gone down.
And of course, when he was suffering the slings and arrows of outrageous injustice, those relationships that he spent a fortune to build didn't help in the least.
Yeah, you could say it was the price he paid for sticking to his beliefs.
Alright.
Oh, that's a good point. If Callus was really as stubborn as you say, then wouldn't he have argued with the rank and file all the time?
Oh yeah, it eventually became a thing that just happened on every day that ended with Y. But Navia, I mean, boss, you might not know this, but he wasn't always like that.
Oh?
He used to be a lot better with taking counsel. With him listening to our advice and Ms. Clementine also frequently on our side, it was pretty smooth sailing for a good many years. But on the matter of the Aquabus, even Ms. Clementine completely stood by Mr. Callus's side.
Huh. I never knew. But from my perspective, Romeu's position had a lot going for it. Couldn't they have sat down and talked it out?
I think the Aquabus was just the straw that broke the camel's back. On that topic, they eventually came to a rather radical conclusion. They believed that Miss Clementine lost her ability to serve as an impartial mediator when she became pregnant with Callus's child.
So, they thought she had betrayed them? But that doesn't make any sense. Before she was their mediator, my mother was also her own person, and a member of the Spina. She should have the right to take any side she wished.
Yeah, but to them, even taking a side was betrayal enough. They felt like their voices could no longer be heard once their sole mediator had gone over to the other side. Of course, Ms. Clementine then passed away, and Mr. Callus began to regard the completion of the Aquabus project as her final wish. With that, the last hope of reconciliation was gone.
So that's what happened.
From that point
Interesting.
on, Romeu and his people cut ties with the Spina. It never gave us any kind of professional or personal courtesy ever again. Perhaps they've regarded us as enemies ever since they left. But even so, there is still no proof that they ever acted in concert with Marcel.
I've also heard that they aren't in a good financial position, so they've been lying low for a while. But as long as they exist, they'll continue to be a threat.
I think Coulter's got a point. Both Marcel and Romeu had my father in their sights for a very long time. Even though Marcel's faction has been dissolved, we still don't know anything about Romeu's whereabouts. If they're still trying to get revenge on us, with how distracted and vulnerable we are, now would be the best time.
Good thinking, boss.
Problematic.
We should keep an eye on them at all times. I'll let my men know right away.
Sure.
Thank you for that, Florent. And Coulter, thank you for telling me about this as well.
Don't worry, it's nothing. Do you have a moment right now? How about we go out for a walk? I've heard so many incredulous things today. I'm finding it a bit hard to calm down even now. I mean, to think that I'll just never see them again.
In that case, why don't we go back to the court? I can pick up Adele's uniform while we're there as well. Want to come with me again, you two?
Of course.
Then let's go! Paimon feels like a lot.
Yep. Let us move. Probably move here and then up. Yep. But we're gonna take this route. There we go.
Are we not taking the boat this time?
It's nice to walk from time to time, isn't it? Think of it as something like a hiking trip.
Sure.
Once we're there, we can stay a few days before we return.
Mean
Sounds
that
good.
works.
I haven't walked this road in a long time.
Dun dun. Dun dun. Let's see, it wants us to go over here first. Isn't remotely near the road, but sure.
Well, we've walked far enough for now. Let's take a break. Since we're out for a walk, we shouldn't stress too much about the destination.
Mm-hmm.
I've grown old, so I'm not as fit as before. It's a good thing that at least my work down in the fortress was quite the workout.
Well, Paimon thinks you're doing great. We didn't have to slow down for you at all.
Back in the days before the Aquabus lines were built, we often had to hike north with our goods, then catch a boat to the court. Malus and I must have traveled this way hundreds of times. When we were tired, we would lay down for a while on the grass, and when we were hungry, we'd catch a fish or two. The Spina was still on the rise back then. Mr. Callus was generous, and everyone had the chance to strike it rich. So, of course, we all worked really hard. And now, in the blink of an eye, the Aquabus lines have been built, and this road has fallen into disuse.
Yep.
Oh, I know. I was just being a little nostalgic.
You
Then
can tell.
let's stay here a bit longer. Anyone want snacks?
Oh, is this another chance to try some of Navia's macarons? Paimon's been dreaming of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I figured you wouldn't say no to a few more. Oh,
Paimon never says no
wait.
to foods.
let me check if I have all the ingredients. Malus and Silver used to take care of tasks like this.
Hmm?
Okay, the stove's looking good. And as for the ingredients,
Alright.
seems like we're all out of flour and sugar. The two most important ingredients of all.
Yeah, get some.
Oh, would you? Oh, but it would be too much to ask you to go on a trip just for those.
We should contribute to making the macaron too. Don't worry, we cook out in the wild all the time, so
Hmm.
she should have some stuff on hand.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, that's great. Then I'll leave the ingredient gathering to you. As long as we have some sweet flours and wheat, I can start the baking.
Yeah,
I'll go
it
look
should
for
be
some
easy, you
boxes
know.
nearby for a makeshift table and chairs.
Great. Then I'll prep the stove. Let's get to work.
Yep.
How did...
Yeah. We have some on my hands. Plenty, in fact.
You've all done your part. Just leave the rest to me.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, these macarons look and taste magnificent! Your cooking is as good as ever, Navia.
Boss's baking skills have always been famous. Everyone in the Spina knows how exceptionally talented she is.
Oh, it's just a hobby. There's no need to praise me for it like that.
Have you two seriously never considered joining us? You're so close to the boss, and she obviously trusts you with all her heart, so...
We still have some important things to do.
Oh, I see. Is that why you have to always stay on the road?
Yeah, we have plenty to do.
You just happened to walk in on our little reunion. It's actually been quite a while since we last spent time together. Adventurers never
Yep.
stay in one place for long. The name of Spina di Rosula would just tie them down. Besides, after everything we've been through together, I'm sure our hearts would remain intertwined even if we found ourselves on opposite sides of the world.
Certainly one way of putting
Mama
it.
was far beyond the horizon, she'd still remember the delicious taste of Navia's macaron.
I understand.
Of
now.
course.
Then I am very lucky indeed to have been graced with the chance to meet the two of you. I will endeavor to make the most of this short yet fortuitous encounter, and enjoy every moment we spend together.
We've got no wine with us, but let's still toast with water in celebration of this moment.
Cheers! Hey, what are you doing?
May your travels go smoothly. May the Spina continue. All set.
Alright.
Let's move out then. I asked some old acquaintances in town to make Adele's uniform.
Sure. Let's go ahead and move out here. Dun dun.
there, Ludovine.
Hmm?
How's business lately?
Yep.
The Demoiselle of Spina de Rosula. I must say, your generous patronage is the one thing keeping me from going bankrupt.
Nonsense. We all know what a talented businesswoman you are. Oh, and don't forget, she's the boss now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
My mistake, my mistake. I just got so used to calling her Demoiselle. Are you here
Yep.
for the uniform?
Yep. I forgot to drop by earlier when I was running errands around here.
I didn't expect Demoiselle to come and pick it up in person. It's just a uniform after all. Any of your folks could have come instead.
Hmm?
Has always liked to take even small things seriously.
Hey,
That's
not
fair.
the only reason I'm here. We mostly just needed a walk to clear our heads. There are few things more uplifting than taking the first step on a new journey.
Boss has got a point. Going on a trip with friends is always better than staying cooped up at home.
Very well. Please, wait here while I retrieve the uniform for you.
Mm-hmm. That sounds pretty good.
Can someone remind Paimon again why Adele wants to join the Spina?
She hasn't given me any concrete reasons. All she says is that she really looks up to me. After we cleared her father's name, she became a lot more cheerful and outgoing. It's probably because she now knows for sure that her father was never a bad person. She
Fair
said she used to be terrified
enough.
of Papa. So, as a result, she found all the rest of the Spina super scary as well. But the
Are we
Spina
being
is very
watched?
different now. She mustered up the courage to talk to me, and felt like I could really understand her.
Hmm?
Yeah, you could say that. By uncovering the truth about the case, I was able to give her closure at the same time. She
Hmm,
said that she wanted
yep.
to become someone like me. Someone who could lend a hand to others, instead of standing still and waiting for others to help her.
From the sound of it, she'll be a wonderful addition to the Spina.
I think so too. But for now, let's focus on giving her a great atmosphere to grow
Yeah.
and thrive.
Who are
She can
you?
commit to us once she's older, and can really make that.
Is something up, Traveler? Huh?
Yep.
Tailing? Oh, Paimon's...
I'll go check it out too. Coulter, please hold on to this for me.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
Paimon saw them too! They headed up!
Stop right there!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why are you following us? And caught up with you.
We knew you were going to be difficult.
Seems like if we want them to talk,
Brothers, there's no need to skulk in the dark.
You really want to take us on?
watch out!
Hmm. Yeah, done. And this.
Now, talk. Who are you? And why were you tailing us?
Yep. You want to
We'll
know?
let you off easy if you keep silent.
Mm-hmm.
How did it go, boss? Are any of you hurt?
Not at all.
If you thought they stood any chance against us, you were sorely mistaken. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
stop playing tough and start talking. There won't be any room for negotiation once the Maison Gardiennage gets involved.
Yep.
We were discovered and can't beat you in a fight.
Mm-hmm.
We admit it. We lost.
Get revenge? Wait,
You actually know that name? But if
Yep.
you do, then surely you should understand why we hate you so much.
I would advise you to calm down.
Indeed. You haven't got the faintest hope of winning right now.
We were out drinking when we saw Navia. We got so angry we decided to follow you guys and look for an opportunity to really mess up your day. Too bad you guys messed up ours first.
You're lying.
You're pretty sharp. But so what? We didn't do anything. And now it should be pretty obvious that we can't do anything to you anyway. Seeing you like that just really ticked us off. And we let the drink go to our heads.
Right.
Listen, Callus is long dead. No matter what, I am the current president of Spina di Rosula. If your boss wants to talk with me, I'd be happy to meet with him. I won't press charges for your attack. That should...
I understand.
Hmm?
Thank you. I'll let our boss know.
Yeah.
If you so much as think about pulling something like this again, I won't be so lenient next time. Understood?
Hmm?
All right. We get it. Come on, let's go.
Troublemakers
Are
are
you sure
they?
it's okay to just let them go like that, Navia?
I don't want to inherit my father's grudges, too. Moreover, when it comes to the Aquabus, I don't think what my father did was entirely correct either.
Alright.
If the other side is willing to talk, I'm happy to open the door for a reconciliation. Opportunities for new beginnings are all around us.
I support Boss's decision as well. The concept of an eye for an eye is a primitive practice that has no place in today's Spina di Rosula.
That's fair.
Plus, we already know that they're strapped for cash. If their financial situation is that dire, they don't have what it takes to challenge us. So this may be the best time to talk. I still think we should keep an eye out for Romeo's folks, though.
Mm-hmm.
If he decides to ignore the warning I gave his men, then we could still have a fight on our hands.
Yep.
Yeah, those guys definitely didn't look like big fans of yours.
That's an understatement, but alright.
I'd rather things not go that far, since, though we haven't talked to each other for years, once upon a time we were all a part of the Spina di Rosula family.
Yep, that's how I feel as well. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
now that we've sent them packing, we don't have to worry about those guys anymore.
Hi, Gendia. Thank you very much for the follow. I'm doing fine over here, and how's your day been treating you?
It's getting late already. So why don't we stay the night in the Fleuve Cendre? We can head back to Poisson tomorrow. I'll also ask someone to write Florent a letter and inform him of everything that happened here today, so he can increase security around Poisson and be on guard against any suspicious individuals.
That sounds like an excellent idea.
Do we have to stay in the Fleuve Cendre again? Even the pillows there smell like seaweed.
Sorry, that's just what happens when you live near water and don't get much sunlight.
Yep.
Sounds pretty much the same though, so I've long since gotten used to it. We can still go out in the evening for some grilled fish and drinks though. Bet you there'll be people singing sea shanties too. How does that sound?
Sounds pretty okay.
That does sound pretty cool. Okay, Paimon's on board now. Let's go. Paimon wants to sing too.
Sure. Let's go ahead and get to the place. Done. Done.
Coming back here really does feel like this place is starting to grow on Paimon.
That's
Think
fair.
about it. It would be kind of weird if the Spina's base at the court was some super luxurious building like the Palais Mermonia.
Totally. Right on the money, Paimon. Although,
Yep.
of course, with the continued growth of the Spina, Papa wanted Poisson to eventually grow into a metropolis, not unlike the court. He was a very ambitious man, who rarely looked behind or beneath him. For better or worse, that always made him stand out from the crowd.
That's
And
fair.
That's also why people hated him just as much as they loved him.
All right. Why don't you go wait for me at the restaurant? I'll go do some prep and I'll get someone to tidy up your room while I'm at it. You can use the same room as last time. You still remember the room number, yeah?
Yep. That works out.
When there are only so many rooms here after all.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
Did I just hear someone taking a dig at Fleuve Cendre? I'll tell my guys to stuff your pillows full of actual seaweed right now.
Seaweed.
I'm sorry. Please have mercy, Navia. If if you do that, then Paimon really won't be able to sleep at all.
I was just
Yeah.
kidding. Be on your way now.
Yeah, that better be a joke, because otherwise that's a pretty cruel joke to make. Yep. Sit inside and wait for the baguette to begin. Sure. So, like, how long do I got to wait, game? Usually they tell you how long you got to wait. I'll just wait a full day. I've no idea if there's any specific time in the ads, but yeah. I'll just go ahead and take a small gamble that this should be long enough. Or do I specifically need to sit down? I specifically need to sit down. Got it, game?
Hello? Are you asleep yet?
Something happened.
Oh, no, not at all. I just figured that since we don't get to enjoy nights like these very often, we should try to enjoy it to the fullest.
That's
Wanna go
fair.
fishing? I've got some rods and lures ready.
Oh, so that's the prep you were talking about. We'll come.
Yep, that works out.
Hopefully I didn't wake you or anything. Don't worry.
You're good.
You don't have to do any actual fishing if you're too tired. Just think of it as keeping me company. How does that sound? Okay, let's go.
Sure, that works out well enough. I'll just teleport over to here and we'll the way over there. That sounds like good enough to me. Yep. Going smoothly across here.
How can you call this fishing when you're using a fully automatic rod?
Technically, it's still fishing.
That's the problem. Lots of people in Poisson use rods like these.
But shouldn't fishing be all about, you know, attentively watching the float and then excitedly reeling in the catch when you finally hook something?
Well,
It
that's
doesn't
one
have to
way
be.
enjoy fishing. What do you think, Traveler?
Yeah, automation is more effective.
That's how I feel as well. To me, I'm happy as long as I catch some fish.
Yep.
Honestly, Paimon's mainly shocked at how much energy you still have at this hour. Usually by this time of night, it's a struggle for Paimon to even keep her eyes open.
Yep. Sounds like it's also a struggle now.
It might just be something that runs in my family.
That's a thing?
I'm sure
I don't
you'd
know.
get even sleepier if I delved more deeply into it. Anyway, I was just thinking about how grateful I am to my mother, as well as the rest of the Spina. My father always had a lot of unrealistic expectations for me. But the more that he tried to get me to become like him, the less I wanted to listen to what he had to say. My mother never had those kinds of expectations, though. I've heard that she had only one wish for me, which was that I would have a happy and secure childhood.
I would
All
say
the
that
members of
has
the
been
Spina greatly
accomplished.
respected her wish, so no matter what I did as a child, they were happy to humor me. Can you imagine? Whenever my father wanted to scold me for something I'd done,
Jeez.
everyone would form up into 2 rows and just stand silently and listen to him rant. Malus and Silver were always there too. No
Alright.
matter what Papa yelled, nobody else would say a word. Eventually, Papa must have recognized scolding me over trivial matters was pointless, because he eventually stopped getting on my case so often.
Paimon would have never guessed.
Yeah. Looking back on it now as an adult, I can hardly believe how patient and kind everyone was.
Mm-hmm.
When I was young, I often thought that I could do whatever I wanted, because there'd always be someone there to clean up after me.
Oh,
But
jeez.
once, I saw Malus come back wounded. He wouldn't tell me how he'd been injured, but I could tell it had something to do with me.
Hmm.
I learned then that there's always a cost to making a mistake. The
Hmm?
more you care about those around you, the more you should care about doing the right thing to the best of your abilities. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you do falter, there'll inevitably come a time when you'll have to face the consequences. And when that time comes,
That sounds fair.
those most precious to you really will throw themselves in front of you and pay the price for your sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I shouldn't have brought that up. I wasn't planning to talk about sad things tonight. Basically, I was just saying that the nurturing atmosphere of the Spina must have been my mother's legacy, rather than my father's. And if that's the only way that I can continue to feel her love, then I'd like to pass that warmth on.
Is that why you let those guys go today?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like it.
Although, maybe there's a part of not wanting to repeat the mistakes of the past. I want to be reasonable, at least. Hey,
That sounds fair.
look! I think you've got something on the line!
Yep.
But why isn't the rod automatically reeling it in?
Oh, there must be something wrong with how I installed the mechanism. It was my first time putting one of those rods together. We can't let it get away. Come on, you two. Let's catch it.
Sure.
You want Paimon to help too?
Yeah, why not? Let's see what we got.
You didn't attach a hook to your line?
Oh. Yeah, that explains stuff.
Stop wasting time! The boss ain't gonna wait all day. We'll go ahead with the operation tomorrow. Do with that information as you wish.
You're really gonna be trouble again.
Well, your rod was missing a part too, so I guess that makes it fair.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
if we're just talking about the number of missing parts, sure. Oh, never mind. Paimon really can't keep her eyes open anymore.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go to bed.
Well, let's see what's gonna happen tomorrow, because I have an inkling something's gonna
So,
happen.
how was last night? Did you get a good night's sleep?
Mm-hmm.
Paimon dreamt that she danced with the sea stars, so you could say it was stellar.
Oh, jeez.
Huh.
And just where did you get that from?
I didn't know you had such a great sense of humor.
See? This guy gets it!
Anyway, let's head out. I'll arrange for a boat to take us back to Poisson. I'm sure Adele will be happy to see you two again.
Yeah, why
Paimon
not?
hopes she'll really appreciate your gift.
I hope so too.
Dun dun dun. Let's see. Really doesn't take a lot to complete that, does it? Well, might as well turn that in for the day. And let us head back to Poisson. As that should be a pretty decent then to get some more story. And I want to know what those guys are up to.
We brought you a gift from the court too.
Whoa! Thank you so much, boss!
Don't call her boss, okay, Adele? Just Miss Navia would be fine.
Oh, it's all right. I don't mind. Besides the gift, I've also got another surprise. Guess who's here?
It's been a while!
Yep. Hello again.
Oh, it's you two.
It has been a while indeed. Thank you so much for your help on Jacques' case. I've heard that you also helped save all of Fontaine. You're truly just like the great heroes of legend.
You're really amazing. And if Miss Navia's your friend, then she must be super amazing too.
Alright.
What's in this thing? Can I look?
Of course. Go ahead.
Oh, it's a Spina di Rosula uniform. Is it for me? But isn't it a bit big?
It's not for you, I don't think.
Well, it's a gift for future you. When you first told me that you were interested in joining the Spina, I was overjoyed. But it's the Spina's responsibility to protect everyone as well. Being a member means becoming involved in all kinds of dangerous situations. And since you're still young, I don't want your mom to have to worry about your safety. So I turned you down then by telling you that you'll have to wait until you're older.
Yep,
But this
that makes
uniform
sense to me.
is a promise that you can join us once you're old enough to wear it.
Oh, so that's it. Well, thank you so much, Miss Navia. I'll work hard and grow up as fast as I can.
But you can't really grow up faster by working hard. You've got to be patient.
Everyone,
Yep.
I'm really grateful that you remembered my daughter's wish and took it seriously. Thanks to the protection of the Spina, even though her father's no longer with us, we've still felt plenty of warmth and security.
Oh, it's the least we could do. As long as you live in Poisson, even if you're not an official member, you're still part of the family.
Boss!
Trouble?
Huh? Is something up, Florent?
I've got
Is that
something
trouble?
urgent to report. Romeu and his folks have gathered outside Poisson and even shipped in a huge pile of explosives.
What?
What? Explosives? What do they want?
It seems like they've been planning this for some time. We started investigating as soon as we received your letter yesterday. But Romeu and his folks must have gotten wind as well, because they abandoned their former posts before we could even check on them. We investigated their tracks and found out that they're after Poisson.
Could they have
Oh,
smartened up
great.
since we caught them red-handed at the court?
Seems like they've got no interest in sitting down and talking at all. We should have gone straight to the Maison Gardiennage.
Sorry, I underestimated the situation. Well, too late now, I suppose. Florent, where are they keeping their explosives?
Yeah, let's
On
move
the hill
out.
to the east of Poisson, near the Clementine line.
They want
They want to blow up the Clementine line?
Certainly sounds like it.
Romeu and his followers hate the Spina and everything to do with Callus. And the Aquabus was the source of their contention. If they manage to blow up the Aquabus line, all that rubble will come crashing down the hill and straight into Poisson.
Are they insane? There's tons of innocent people in Poisson.
Yeah, they are insane. Can easily answer that with a yes at this point.
Yeah. If they've been planning this for ages, they're definitely not going to let this opportunity slip by. We have to issue an evacuation order to the townspeople and get them as far away from the entrance as possible.
Let's get everyone onto our ship. That should...
My dear partner, if the explosives do go off, not only would the people of Poisson be in danger, any aquabuses using the line would plummet to the ground.
Yep.
Let's stop their insanity first, then settle the score with them.
Leave the house, Navia. Please stay safe too.
Yep. Let's go ahead and take care of that mess, shall we?
Let's go, you two. We've got to act fast. Miss Coralie, please take Adele to the ship.
Oh, come on.
Watch out, boss!
You too?
What do you think you're doing, Coulter?
I thought all the annoying little hindrances had left.
You mean... Oh. I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
You knew about their plans all along. You only told us they were doing badly so that we'd drop our guard.
Not quite. Though I share their positions on some issues, and that's because out of the entire Spina di Rosula, I only hate you. Only you, Navia.
That seems
You better
uncalled
stick
for.
close to me.
Romeu promised me that he would leave Poisson alone if I could just take you out. But it was like you were glued at the hip to that pesky traveler. Romeu has lost his patience. I didn't have to be here today, you know.
Oh,
I swore
jeez.
that I'd kill you.
Why?
Only someone as clueless about the past as you would ask such a foolish question. You never saw the heyday of Spina di Rosula, but I saw it all with my own eyes, and then I had to watch it all die, little by little. And it was all because of you, Navia.
Huh?
Clementine died because of you. Callus died because of you. Melusan Silver died because of you. And so many more
It's not
dead.
how it works.
Everyone dead, all because of you.
So the shock and grief you showed us before, that was
Yeah.
in Act 2?
Now you're catching on.
Yep.
I heard Malus was dead the moment I got out. Did you know? Down there in that blasted fortress, I spent a long time thinking about what happened and resolving
Seems
to
like you should go
apologize to
right
Malus
back
as soon
into
as I
it.
got out. Back then, because of that aqua bus, we had a huge fallout. I was convinced that all he cared about was loyalty, and that he had completely lost his capacity for critical thinking. The years passed by in a blur after that. I thought I had finally begun to understand him, and that he could help me relive the good old days again. But then he
Jeez.
died, and it was because of you again, Navia. It's always because of you.
That seems uncalled for.
I once loved the Spina and Poisson more than anyone else. But what is left now of either besides death and ruin? You've single-handedly destroyed everything that was beautiful. Everything I've ever loved.
Don't listen
Jeez.
to him, boss! He's just spouting nonsense!
Yep.
Have you ever considered that maybe the people around you don't actually care about you at all? Have you ever considered that maybe
Jeez.
you only get respect because you're Callus and Clementine's child? That you've never done anything worthy? That you're just a big nothing? Have you ever
Jeez.
considered that maybe people don't stay in Poisson because of you, but only because they have such beautiful memories of the past before you came?
Right.
Because if you do falter, there'll inevitably come a time when you'll have to.
Hmm.
Yeah, but is that real?
Shut your mouth! I, for one, really like Miss Navia. And my mom loves her too.
Yep.
I don't know how to explain it, but I like her. And that's that.
I'm sure Mr. Malus would be extremely disappointed in you right now. You've somehow managed to pin the blame for every mistake and tragedy in our history on the boss herself.
Yeah.
Get out of the way, Florent. I don't want to hurt you.
You're gonna have to. Boss, there's no time for this. Stop hesitating and get out of here before you get buried.
Maybe you think you're being the realist by painting the history of the Spina and Poisson like this. But the love that I felt from everyone was just as real. I felt it. They've helped me get to where I am. And even now, I will continue to believe in that love. So let me show you just how much I love the Spina di Rosula.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get him.
Hey there!
Person living in the past. Yep.
Watch out!
Nostalgia is a thing.
Fire! Well, with rocks.
Dun,
I'm fine.
dun,
Coming at ya.
dun.
Where'd that come from?
Hmm.
Coming at
Well, that takes care of them.
Florent, I'll leave the town to you. Summon the other members and help with the evacuation of the townspeople. If you find any of Coulter's accomplices, subdue them quickly, and don't give them the chance to harm any ordinary civilians. I
Yep.
can't allow my partner to face the danger on the Clementine line alone.
Got it,
And
boss.
we will
I'm
be
on it.
fine.
Are you okay, Navia?
I don't know, but I have to go.
Hmm?
Let's hurry up there. We have to protect the Clementine line.
Yep.
If they're
Let's
gonna
move.
block the waterway, they must have planted. I'm a rock. Boba.
Hmm. Hmm.
You can't run!
Out of the frying pan, into the fire.
Yep.
You're toast.
Hmm. Yep. Let's go ahead and use all our might to take care of these clowns.
Brought a lot of muscle. They're really slowing us down. But if we're meeting resistance, we must be heading in
Yeah.
the right direction.
Light it up! Judgment! Lights out. Teamwork is dreamwork!
Yep.
Boba, get them.
Hmm. Yep.
These
That
must be
takes
the
care of
explosives,
them.
right? And this is the control mechanism. Paimon's too scared to touch any of this stuff.
Hmm.
Huh?
Yep.
There's a strangely shaped hole here. What? Oh, that certainly sounds possible. Okay, you take this side. Paimon will take.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
found it! That's amazing!
Yep. Let's go ahead and turn this shit off.
That should do it, right?
Probably.
Navi and Florent should be able to relax now. Oh, you're
Hmm.
right. They.
Yep. Set up even more explosives.
They're gonna bury Priscilla!
Hmm.
Great work, partner! Just leave the rest to me.
Watch out, Navia! You can't block them all!
Block? I'm doing this the Spina way.
By just crushing them all.
Fire!
Boom, boom, boom. Yep, that works out. You're in huge trouble.
I heard
That's
from
for
Jerry
sure.
that even they're your enemies now. They were once a part of Spina di Rosula. Do you plan to settle this privately with them?
I don't
I
think
have
so.
nothing more to say to them.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether their hatred and anger towards me or the Spina was justified, anyone who's willing to endanger innocent civilians is no longer sane enough to even be worth trying to talk to. Please
Yep.
prosecute them in accordance to the law. Spina di Rosula will not raise any objections.
Sounds good. We're very appreciative of your help. Without it, the consequences would have been far worse. All right, this operation is a wrap. Take him away.
Yep.
Navia!
Yeah. Luckily, we were just in time.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably because I expended too much elemental energy at once.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be fine. Don't worry about me.
That sounds
You
fair.
usually glow up whenever other people compliment you. Paimon's not used to seeing you like this.
She's tired.
Boss, we managed to catch all the infiltrators in the town.
Hmm?
Maison Gardiennage is taking them away as well.
Sounds
Seems
good.
like Romeu really went all in on this mission. If he sent literally everyone he had, though, that also means we've caught them all too. We won't have to worry about them from now on.
Glad to hear
Alright.
that.
That's good at least.
He doesn't seem happy about that.
I can understand how you feel. I am not callous, and I will also never become him. The Spina and
That
the
makes
Poisson
sense.
that you loved are both gone. But I will not change how I feel about our future. I will spend more of what the Spina earns on the betterment of Poisson. What's more, I'd also like to propose some changes to the Aquabus routes.
Alright.
So that one day, the people of Poisson...
I know what you're trying to say. Mr. Callus would never have said anything like that. There are too many things in life that are just beyond our control. In that, we are the same.
Henceforth, you are no longer a member of Spina di Rosula.
Yep.
Once you're discharged from the fortress again...
Thank you. No.
He will probably be in the fortress for a while.
As I thought. Boss really is a kind and gentle person.
She is also, I must say, Thank you for protecting the Clementine line. I was actually really scared, you know. I mean, even the Callus line won't be getting rebuilt anytime soon.
Makes sense.
If I'd lost the Clementine line too, I wouldn't know how to live with myself. A name is a way to etch a memory onto the world. Losing the line that bears her name, that I can see every day, seeing it still standing there, tall and...
What happened while we were gone? Honestly, you look more upset than tired or anything.
Just
Sounds
give her some
like
time.
it. Yep.
Thank you so much. Traveler, I want to ask you something. And please, tell me the truth.
Alright.
Do you really see me as your partner?
Of course.
That's good then.
I didn't
Hearing
expect to give the regular
brings me
dialogue.
more
They
relief
rarely
than I can
do
say.
that. That was a
feel,
pretty
Nadia?
nice character
Any
quest.
better after taking a break?
I feel quite a bit better. But I should probably still rest for a few more days.
That makes
Sorry,
sense.
partner. I said some weird things earlier. Feel free to just ignore me. I used to think that I'd never doubt myself. But you could say I've discovered that I'm not as strong as I thought I was. Coulter mentioned my parents, as well as Malus and Silver. It's all thanks to them that I've made it this far in life. Do you think they ever regretted the choices they made? Has my existence made this world a better place?
Don't think like that, Navia. You've already done more than enough. No matter what others
Good
think,
enough.
we'll always support
Basically.
you to the end of the world.
Well, since it's ended up like this, I suppose it's time for me to make a confession as well.
Oh?
There's something that I've been keeping from you as well, boss. Please, follow me. Everything is already prepared.
Florent, I hope you can understand that I can't deal with any more shocking revelations right now.
Yeah. At least
Don't
make
worry.
it a good
This
one.
surprise will be a pleasant one.
Pleasant one. Alright. Let's hope indeed it will be a pleasant one for once. Because that's not the impression I've been getting.
Benny,
Oh, yep. Alright, price is right across here. So let's see what kind of price he has. Because honestly, if it's more bad news, then come on. Like, give me a break. Actually, think it's down here. The ship. Um, dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And taking like the littlest little shortcuts. Dun, 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 dun. All right, what is the surprise?
Why is everyone gathered here? And what's this?
This was
Seems
supposed
like
to be
a
a gift to you
logo.
from everyone in the town. We were originally planning to show it to you once it was finished, but special times call for special measures. I've never seen you look so defeated before, so I've decided to show you the designs before the final product was done.
Hmm?
Do I really look that bad?
If you're ready,
Don't look
I'll unveil
great
the present.
currently.
Hmm.
Well, let's see. All right. Seems to be a drawing.
This is Papa, Mother,
Mm-hmm.
and me.
On
We
a
designed the
statue.
look for Miss Clementine based on old camera records, as well as personal recollections from members of the Spina.
Wow. This is the statue you mentioned before?
It is indeed.
Seems to be the case.
To be honest, we decided on the design a long time ago, and gave the sculptor permission to begin working. We only asked Boss to decide on a design so she wouldn't realize we had already started.
How could we only have statues of Mr. Callis and Mrs. Clementine?
All right.
Even though Boss is still young, we've all seen the work she's put in regarding the whole synth business and the rebuilding of Poisson.
we wanted to commemorate her contributions with a statue as well.
I don't know what Spina di Rosula was like in the past, but I know it's a great organization now.
With Navia around, we're not worried about this place's future.
All
We're
right.
gathered here today to tell our boss that we support you and believe in you wholeheartedly. I believe everyone is here for you, not the glory days.
That's what we believe as well.
Very intrigued.
Thank you so much, everyone. Then I'll be brave and just accept
Dun, dun.
everyone's support for what it is. This really is quite the surprise. I never thought that I'd have the chance to stand next to my mother. Not even in my wildest dreams.
Quest complete. It's quite a nice one. Well, let's see. I'll accept this quest, which I think she's an Adeptus.
We've been to so many places lately. What do you say we take a day off from adventuring and just find somewhere nice to relax? Let Paimon think. Where are some nice places we could go?
Sure.
Oh,
Let's
why
go
don't we
here.
pay Cloud Retainer a visit at Mount Outsong? It's been a while since we last saw that illuminated bird.
Yeah,
She's always
because
the one popping up out of nowhere and scaring us half to death. So let's surprise her this time.
let's not surprise her half to that, but sure. It's been a minute since we've been here before, but let's go with it. Why not?
Here we are, right outside her place. Do you
Mhm.
still remember the first time we came here? We even brought offerings and everything. And
Mhm.
when we told her that Rex Lapis had been assassinated, she immediately threatened to squash Liyue Harbor.
Yeah.
We thought she'd be impossible to get along with. But now that we've spent some more time together, she's really not like that at all. We probably don't need to bring any offerings now that we've gotten to know her pretty well, right? Still, Paimon's got some snacks around here somewhere, so if you
Jeez.
really want something, we can just use that.
Of course.
Traveler, did something catch your eye? Whoa.
Hmm?
What a pretty lady. Is she also here to visit Cloud Retainer? Yeah, you're
Hmm.
right. All it takes is one look and you can tell she's someone special. Okay, but if we're both friends of Cloud Retainer, then we're basically friends by association. Helping you make more connections is...
Alright. Let's go ahead and get over to her.
Hello? Paimon?
You two.
Mhm.
What is this tomfoolery? Has this shift in form so clouded your eyes that you no longer recognize one anymore?
Mm.
Wait,
Mhm.
you're the illuminated
Oh, donning human form is scarcely any test of one's abilities. As for your confusion, one merely had no reason to indulge such inclinations before.
That's fair.
Well, one has made plans to pay a visit to some disciples at Liyue Harbor.
Mhm.
Taking on a human form for such a trip is simply a way to make matters less conspicuous.
That makes sense.
Worrying about keeping a low profile? You're the one who likes to pop up out of nowhere all over...
Mm. Mhm.
Hey, didn't we agree not to bring that up unless she asked?
Oh,
Mm.
so you have taken care to follow the proper rules of etiquette after
Mhm.
all. Most commendable.
Well,
One has never found oneself lacking in basic comforts. On the contrary, it is the gesture that one values above all else.
Mhm.
So long as you've shown proper respect and consideration, the quantity or quality of the gift is but a trivial matter.
that kinda makes Paimon feel a little guilty for trying to keep them for herself.
Mhm.
So by disciples,
Yep.
you must mean Ganyu and Shenhe.
One planned to extend the invitation even if you had not raised the matter yourself. Shenhe and Ganyu should be quite pleased to see you again.
Mhm.
However, one would first inquire as to the reason behind your visit here. You have cause to seek one's company?
No reason in particular.
Yeah, we just found ourselves missing you and wanted to see how you were doing. We were hoping you'd tell us one of your stories. Who knew we'd run into your human form while we were at it?
Mhm.
Is that so?
Yep.
If there are no urgent matters at hand, then let us make haste for Liyue Harbor. Ganyu is likely still working at Yuehai Pavilion, so that shall be our first stop.
Hmm?
Great! Then let's all go to Liyue Harbor!
Yep. That sounds like a good plan to me as well. Let's go ahead and just use this big old tail as a start.
Shenhe has also secured employment recently. In her correspondence with me, she wrote that she shall have no need to return for the foreseeable future.
Alright.
Did they think one was so easily mollified? One shall investigate everything with one's own eyes and decide for
Alright.
oneself if their living conditions are satisfactory.
And sure, that sounds good.
We're almost at Weihai Pavilion. Hey, do you think Ganyu will be shocked to see Cloud Retainer like this?
Probably
I
not.
have no idea if Shenhe and Ganyu have ever seen her in this form before. Wait, where did she go?
Probably off on her own.
Why are you just standing there, Cloud Retainer?
Quietly now. One shall stay here. You two can go and meet with her.
Sure.
What?
If one were to proudly proclaim one's presence, Ganyu would surely profess herself otherwise unoccupied and drop everything to attend to one's visit.
That's
One fears
fair.
It would only result in her staying up all night to make up for lost time. One does not wish to trouble her. Conversing vicariously via you two shall suffice. Do
That
remember
works
to
out.
inquire as to her recent well-being. Again, do not mention one's presence here.
Fair enough. Makes sense.
Cloud Retainer?
Oh,
Seems like she has already spotted you.
Busted.
Is that lady someone you know, Miss Ganyu?
She is indeed. I'm sorry, Huixin, but could we delay the upcoming meeting for a little bit? I believe my schedule today is quite full. Although, perhaps I could move some work to later in the evening.
Oh, of course.
Not to worry, Miss Ganyu. I'll make the necessary arrangements.
Thank you, Huixin.
That's just very typical of her.
Greetings. What brings you here today? And Cloud Retainer, too. It's been quite some time since I last saw you in this form.
you are quite mistaken. One is not acquainted with this Cloud Retainer of whom you speak. One is simply a mere mortal passerby.
Right.
She's not buying it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't sound believable at all.
That was but a simple test. One did not expect you to be able to recognize one so easily, especially after so many years of only seeing one's other form.
But recognizing you is, my responsibility as your disciple.
An apt observation. One was simply passing by while attending to some important business.
Alright.
I thought it would only be fitting to pay you a visit while in the area.
Wait, Paimon wasn't aware of any important. Cloud Retainer's right. We've still got something super important to do, so we can't stay here for too long today.
Sure.
Oh, is that so? But it's been so long since we last saw each other.
One simply desired to see you and had no intention of interrupting your work. A quick conversation should suffice for today. A more involved reunion should wait until you find yourself less occupied.
I understand. That should be fine.
While one acknowledges the amount of work that you have to deal with every day, one must also remind you to rest. Though Adepti blood flows through your veins, excessive exhaustion will still cause grave harm to your body.
Yep.
It still makes one nostalgic to see you as you are now, respected and independent. When you were young, you oft begged one to cuddle you to sleep when you suffered from nightmares.
Cloud Retainer! Stop!
If you insist. We are running short on time regardless, so one will refrain from going into each and every story. Why don't you continue your conversation? One shall simply stand by and listen.
That works out.
You've been to so many new places since the last time we spoke. If you ever need anything, please just come find me at Yuehai Pavilion. Also, forgive me for my presumptuousness, Cloud Retainer. But if you plan to continue appearing in this form, don't you think it'd be helpful to adopt a human name?
Yeah, that would be helpful.
You raise a valid point. Considering the sheer extent of one's renown, Cloud Retainer is surely too recognizable as a name.
Yeah.
You really think so? Not that you're not famous or anything.
You presume to know the extent of one's illustrious achievements. One would hardly think such a thing to be possible. Nevertheless, Ganyu's advice cannot be ignored. From this point on, when in public occasions.
Canyon?
I assume that's a reference to the full record of Pristine Pavilion. An Adeptus of years past would rise with the clouds and rest with the moon. They were enlightened and wise, free and unfettered.
Alright.
French master's name to describe her carefree and spontaneous nature.
Oh, that sounds super cool!
That sounds accurate to her.
Powerful of Adepti could rise with the clouds and rest with the moon.
Actually, those lines were originally written to describe Cloud Retainer herself.
Huh? Wait, so you're really that powerful?
And
Probably.
Did you truly take one to be nothing?
Not exactly.
To be fair, Cloud Retainer rarely speaks of her past accomplishments. The tales of her past can only be found in ancient texts. It is said that once, a long, long time ago, there was a severe drought in Liyue. Left with no... Although I did not live through such tragedy, simply reading about it is enough to gain a visceral... On top of the drought, a noxious gas also began to spread through the land. If not for
Sounds
Cloud
really
Retainer's
problematic.
efforts, much of Liyue would be nothing more than a barren wasteland. The books had this to say about what... Upon arrival, the Adeptus borrowed the wind to retain the clouds. Immediately, the clouds gathered together, and abundant rain burst forth from the heavens. Drought and plague were both driven away, and the people were saved.
Wow. That's incredible!
Mortal records add embellishments to dramatize past events. One did merely what one ought, and even if one had not interceded, the other Adepti would surely have stepped in to help.
Even so, you stopped an entire drought! Can you really control the weather like the book said? Oh, Paimon suddenly has a lot more respect for you.
Jeez.
So it was Paimon's bad for calling you Illuminated Bird before.
How laughable. A name is but a simple label we carry with us on our journey through the world. Why would one be offended by such a trivial matter?
That's a relief. In that case, Paimon will continue to call you whatever feels right in the moment.
Okay.
Well, that is quite enough ancient history for now. Ganyu, have you had word from Shenhe? One has heard that she procured a job recently. Have you any thoughts on her workplace? And what, pray tell, of her monthly remuneration? Moreover, does she find herself overly inundated with work? Is she allowed time off during Lantern Rite?
Yes.
Is a lot of questions.
There is no
Why are
cause for
you so
concern,
worried?
Cloud Retainer. I introduced Shenhe to her employer personally. Wanmin Restaurant's business has been booming recently. So, with Chef Mao being swamped with customers, and Xiangling still off and out in search of new recipes, I introduced Shenhe to staff the restaurant.
I see. Most excellent indeed. One has had the pleasure of being introduced to that family. Xiangling is kind and astute, while her father is loyal and reliable. One has no cause to believe that they will make Shenhe's work difficult.
That's good to hear.
Now, it is almost time to partake in the victuals of noon. One shall visit Wanmin Restaurant in person and see how Shenhe is doing.
Sure. That works out.
Didn't you just say that you had something important to do?
Yeah.
Can that wait until after we've eaten?
Jeez, of course.
You may return to your work, Ganyu. One shall see to this matter on one's own. There will be many an occasion to dine together in the future. One is certain the opportunity shall present itself most readily.
Of course, Cloud Retainer.
Sure.
Please take care.
That all sounds
Paimon,
pretty good.
I'll see you some other time.
See you around, Ganyu! Paimon was pretty quick on the
Yep.
uptake there, don't you think?
Yeah.
As soon as you mentioned important business to attend to, Paimon realized that you were just looking to cut the conversation short and not take too much of Ganyu's time. Is Paimon right?
No. In fact, it was not an excuse. One is indeed visiting Liyue Harbor for an important purpose.
Wait, for real?
The moment is not yet upon us. Still, the truth will be revealed to you in time.
Jeez, talk about talking cryptically.
Really seems to be playing up the whole mysterious Adeptus thing right now. Is it because we just heard that cool story about her powers?
No idea, but anyway, let's go ahead and visit this restaurant over here.
You get what I'm saying, right?
Hmm?
Yeah, how can I not? Not even fine food is enough to distract from the presence of a fine lady, huh?
Okay.
I'm far more interested in getting her details than ordering any dishes.
Of
Hey,
course.
how about you ask her?
You do it.
No. I think you should. Wait, she's coming.
What can I get for you today?
Greetings, miss. I was just wondering if you'd be willing to...
What would you like to order?
Yeah. Very to the point. I like it.
2 servings of more meat to go. Good chat. Bye.
Yep.
Welcome. It's been a while. May I take your order?
Don't welcome us as guests and greet us as old friends in the same line. It's weird.
Yeah, that's odd.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and this is?
This is Miss Xinyan.
Really don't recognize her. Eh, never mind.
One does not recall ever revealing this form to you before. How were you able to ascertain one's true identity with such ease?
I've trained and lived with Master for more than 10 years. I would recognize you no matter what form you take.
That's fair.
Is something the matter, Master?
Hardly. One simply learned of your employment from your letter and came to check on your well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And check out the great food, too.
Of
Indeed.
course.
It's almost lunchtime. My apologies. I'm still on the clock and can't talk for very long.
Well, if it isn't the traveler in Paimon, are you here for Shenhe? The lunch rush isn't in yet, Shenhe. So I've got things covered for now. Go ahead, sit down and enjoy some time with your friends. I'll let you know if things pick up.
Thank you, Chef Mao.
That's fair.
It is just as one expected. The owner of Wanmin Restaurant is indeed a most reasonable and accommodating human.
Jeez.
Still, the work here
All the
entails dealing
cryptic
with quite a
talking.
varied group of people. Has this been difficult for you, Shenhe?
It's been manageable so far. I sometimes run into strange people, but I have figured out a way to deal with them.
Seems like you've been making progress.
That sounds good.
Dealing with them, you mean...
First, I try to talk sense into them. If that doesn't work, I threaten them with violence. At this
Jeez.
point, they usually decide they are in favor of a civil conversation.
Oh, how should Paimon put this?
Oh, a sensible
Reasonable
plan.
enough,
One is
indeed.
gladdened to see you integrate so well into human society.
And you, Master? How have you been?
Simply marvelous. Though Mount Outsong has scarcely enjoyed your presence recently, one has hardly found the pleasure of one's own company to be lacking.
Okay.
Just as expected of Master.
Yeah.
I have missed Master quite a bit too. Even though work has been busy lately, I've already had a conversation with Chef Mao about taking some time off soon to visit Master.
Oh, you did? Do make note of such matters in your letters in the future. There's hardly a need to keep one in suspense.
Whoa, her mood shot up just like that.
By the way, Master, since you are in Liyue Harbor, have you had the chance to visit Ganyu?
Indeed. She is similarly preoccupied with her work. There was time only to exchange a few simple pleasantries.
All right.
The story of Cloud
That's
Retainer's
fair.
name. It was amazing. We never knew how powerful she was before.
Before.
see. In that case, allow me to also share a story about Master's past.
Oh?
Is that a problem, Master? I believe this to be a good topic of conversation.
No, not a problem. One was simply caught off guard. But no matter. Please, proceed. One is most curious to see how much of one's own conversational prowess you possess.
Master once participated in a race against Mooncarver. After Mooncarver lost, he insisted that Master's ability to fly gave her a natural edge in such a contest. In response, Master agreed to forego flying in return for being able to use one of her devices in the race. Mooncarver accepted, only to find Master with a brand new device on the day of the contest.
Huh. What kind of device was it?
It was a mechanical vehicle made out of iron. What was it called again? Oh, an electro-powered bicycle?
Alright.
You refer to the bicyclical Thunderflashmobile. One spent 49 days conceptualizing and crafting it. It need only be infused with adeptal energy, and it can cover thousands of miles in one day.
That's quite a
It
bit.
boggles the mind why Mooncarver ever supposed he might best me in a contest of locomotion. Though he sprinted with all his might, he could barely keep up. Alas, the one flaw of my mechanism lay in its weakness against mountainous terrain. One was thwarted mere seconds from victory, when it was thrown off course and failed to make it across the final stretch. Truly a most unfortunate turn of events. Anyway, do go on, Shenhe.
Master, that was the end of that story.
Okay.
Is that so? With you gone, one has seldom felt the desire to call upon those old fossils for another contest.
Have you been lonely, Master?
Sounds like it.
At one's age, entire human generations come and go in the blink of an eye. Even one's own self-directed musings can span several days and nights. 'Tis a most foreign sentiment. The mere mention of it is preposterous.
Yeah. Sarcasm.
What is the reason for that look upon your face?
It's nothing. It's just... Well, Paimon gained a lot of respect for you after listening to that story of you summoning the rain and everything. But all it took was a few words out of your mouth, and it's like you're back to being that illuminated bird again.
Jeez.
I was just a little bit confused. Which one of the two is the real...
To me, they are both, Master. One is the Master that's widely revered by the people, while the other is the Master that I respect and adore.
Fair.
One finds oneself exalted yet again with sweet words of praise and flattery of a most extravagant nature. You chose to exalt one with your words, yet you refuse to grace Mount Outsong with your presence for any extended period of time. One would almost question the sincerity of your estimations. This is not to say that your words paint an inaccurate picture. One has always lived by a single ideal. Eschew all action and abide by no rule. One does as one pleases and speaks as one pleases.
Alright.
Critique or praise as they see fit. Yet one places little weight in such judgments.
She got like, what, 2 sentences of flattery from her disciple? And it's as if her ego is about to burst.
Apparently.
Tea tables?
Hey there, could we get another fish stew?
I think it's getting busy.
I'm hearing more guests come in. I should get back to work.
Alright, good luck with the lunchtime run.
Yep. Good luck with that indeed. Alright.
So much yummy food! Paimon's gonna feast!
Yeah, of course.
One is fond of all kinds of delicacies and delights in a multitude of flavors. The
Yes,
dishes here
but...
demonstrate no shortage of culinary skill. Their unique flavor profile has left one more than satisfied. In fact, one has been struck by quite the fit of inspiration. One has already begun to conceptualize the next...
Everything's so tasty! A bit too hot at times, but still super tasty.
Fair.
I'm sorry, miss, but
Our tables are full.
Yeah.
Shall we try somewhere else, Granny?
But it smells so delightful. Can we really not eat here?
Well, you could always check with some of the other guests and see if anyone's happy to share a table.
That would
I'll ask
work.
around. Excuse me. Would you mind letting us share a table with you? There are no empty tables left, so... Ah, well, Paimon doesn't mind. What about you guys?
Sure.
Great! Thanks so much. My name is Shuyu, and this is my granny, Yuendai. Granny? Yep. Is there something wrong with that? No, Paimon's just a bit surprised. Yeah, a lot of people compliment Granny on her youthful looks. But she's
Youthful?
actually much older than she appears. Granny, why don't you take a seat?
Oh, have we met before?
No.
Tis a fated meeting then. Please, take a seat.
The fated meeting.
What would you like to eat, Granny? I can order for you.
I want braised earthworms. They always pop up out of the ground after a rainstorm.
What?
No, not this again. Braised earthworms? Well, that sounds weird. Do people... Right, that's what Paimon was... Need any help? Help?
Yeah, I think so.
What do you mean? Thanks, that's nice of you to offer. Granny has pretty bad dementia, so her memory's getting worse all the time. She's always saying things that sound kind of confusing.
Yeah.
Actually,
Agree.
it's been bad ever since I was little. But it's gotten so bad lately that I even have to remind her who I am every morning.
Oh, jeez. Sounds like quite a predicament.
They died young. It's just me and Granny now. Oh,
It's quite the situation, I suppose.
But it's okay. Don't feel bad. Granny loves me a lot, and I love her a lot too. Sure, it's hard at times, but you just gotta make... Wow, you're really tough for your age, kid.
Sounds like
You're
it.
too kind.
And me? Oh, what about me?
You're tough too, Granny. Plus, you're really gentle, and you're always there for me.
Yes, and it's hardly as if I forget everything.
Um.
I still remember the important things. Wait, what was that really important thing again?
Oh, jeez.
I remember now. It was a dream. I had a dream where everything was dark. Someone was standing in front of me. She told me to come and find her, and that once I'd found her...
Huh? That sounds super important.
It was just a dream, so I forgot about it. But I'm in a good mood now, and somehow I remembered it again.
Sure, that works out.
You know, I believe I've had this dream a great many times. But just how many times have I had it?
Wait, so you have a reoccurring dream where someone's talking to you? That sounds spooky. Does that mean you're possessed?
I don't think that's what it means.
Her eyes are clear and her breathing remains calm and level. One sees no signs of possession.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Who do you take me for? Is one not an adept? Am I not an expert?
You're right. Paimon almost forgot you're the expert.
Mm-hmm.
In that case,
Yep.
do you still remember what the person in your dreams looked like, Granny?
Sure.
Not anymore. Although, I have a sense that she looked...
A younger version of Granny? This is just getting weirder and weirder. What is going on here?
No idea.
As one said, fate must have brought us together. You may leave the situation to me.
Are you
Sure.
Paimon's Paimon.
Just Shenyun is fine.
Thank you all so much for offering to help. But first... Oh, we don't need any payment for this. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that works out.
But Miss Shenyun, what help out this granny. All we have to go off is that dream. Where do we start?
That is elementary. Since her dreams portray her younger self, then we shall retrace the steps of her youth. Once we have revisited those places, her memories will likely return.
Alright, that sounds nice enough.
Sounds like a plan. So, Granny, do you remember which places you went to when you were young?
Why, of course I do. The heavens above, the earth below, the wispy clouds, and the emerald mountain streams.
Okay.
Alright.
That is a no.
Yeah.
I have an idea. Once, when I was really little, my dad told me that Granny used to be a martial artist heroine who saved loads of people from a disaster.
That's valid.
If it's true, then maybe they wrote about it in the history books or something.
Possible.
A martial arts heroine? Oh, Shincho knows tons about Liyue's chivalric traditions. If anyone knows about the heroes of the past, it's him. Let's go find him at the Feiyun Commerce Guild.
Sure.
Are you leaving already? But
I'll go order some food, Granny. If there's nothing on the menu you especially want.
It seems we must part ways for now. The Traveler and Paimon are bound for the Feiyun Commerce Guild, while Yuendai and Shuyu shall remain here and partake of their lunch. As for myself, I have matters to discuss with Streetward Rambler.
Alright.
Streetward Rambler?
Precisely. Let us meet at Yujing.
Everyone, please, eat to your heart's content. Today is my turn.
Sure. The search for secrets. That sounds intriguing enough. Let us move over there then. Dun 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 dun. Yep, here we are. You.
Huh. It's you two. What brings you here?
Shincho! Great, we found you! We wanted to ask you
Yep.
about something.
That's not a whole lot of information to go off of. I don't know if I can say for sure.
That's fine.
I can't pinpoint her identity from your description alone. But considering her age, I am reminded of a nameless heroine who's been featured in various chivalric novels.
Alright.
Nameless heroine?
That's right. The novels often speak of a great drought from 50 years ago. As the people suffered, a nameless heroine appeared and began to clear away evil spirits and bandit camps. The people idolized her, but never learned her name. All they knew was that she always acted alone. Later, though, she supposedly fell in love with a similarly noble-minded exorcist from Mount Tianheng. They were well matched in more ways than one, often fighting together as a fearsome duo of otherworldly strength. After the drought ended, the heroine and the exorcist left the public eye and began living a reclusive life in the mountains. All that remained were tales of her incredible accomplishments. The way this nameless heroine faded from fame into obscurity later in life is not too dissimilar from Miss Yuendai. I hope that's somewhat helpful.
Thanks a lot, Shincho. We knew it'd be worth talking to you.
It's nothing at all. Just something I came across while reading. I did do a bit of extra research on her story, but it was just out of personal curiosity.
Well, Paimon still thinks that's super cool. Oh, wait. Shincho, if you've read up on her, do you know of any places often associated with her?
Yep.
Let me think. In the novels, the nameless heroine always appeared near one of 3 places. Wangshu Inn, the area just north of Jueyun Karst, and Qingyun Peak. Perhaps the real-life heroine who inspired the character was also often seen near those three places.
That's
That would
possible.
explain why those locations appear in the... You're welcome. To be honest, I found some parts of the story confusing when I first came across it.
Okay.
If Miss Yuendai was indeed the original inspiration for the character, she may just be able to help me put the... It's rare for a chivalric hero to fade into obscurity during their lifetime, even after retiring from the public eye. But no one ever saw or heard from the nameless heroine again. There were even rumors
Sounds
that
like
she
it's
became
possible.
extremely ill. I've never understood why someone would go to such lengths to erase themselves from public memory. It's almost as if she was trying to hide from something. There's probably far more to this.
We'll be sure to tell you if we manage to uncover the truth.
Yep, will
That's a
do.
deal. Perhaps, behind the truth of it all, there lies a story more fantastical than any work of fiction.
Paimon feels like we just learned so much from Xingqiu. A drought, a nameless heroine, a life of seclusion. Wait, why does the story sound super familiar? Oh, right! There's a drought in this story too! Xingqiu, are droughts super common in Liyue or something?
Probably not.
Well, they used to be. But people have long since developed methods to prevent them, like by cultivating the soil or digging canals.
Fair?
So while droughts do happen from time to time, they are rarely regarded as true disasters. The drought 50 years ago is probably one of the worst we've had in the last several. The crops withered, the streams ran dry, and the monsters in the mountains became rabid and agitated. Countless caravans were attacked, and people who lost their homes came together to form bandit groups. What started as a natural disaster soon became a human tragedy as well.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, and that's exactly why the nameless heroine was so beloved. She must have been someone of true integrity, to do so much for the people while asking nothing in return. Still, as terrible as that drought was, it was nothing compared to the truly calamitous disasters that befell this land in ancient times. They say that back in those days, disasters were both more severe and more common. Only the strongest of Adepti could hope to dispel the ruin and devastation. Do you have any other questions?
We're good for now. We're just going to head back and meet up with Miss Xianyun and the others again.
That's plenty of information.
In hopes that Granny Yuendai will be able to remember more of her past. She used to be a great hero who saved many people. Anyway, we'll be off now. See you some other time.
It's no problem at all.
Yep, that sounds good to me. Well, let's move on. So far this story has been, well, quite a lot of story.
Off we go.
Yes, he's always like above. Yeah, it's probably easier to walk around here. Instead of climbing all the way up there. Although both probably work. So we're gonna meet her again.
I have recorded the tune that you requested. I hope it will be of help to you.
Oh, thank you. Straight word, Ping.
Oh, it's no serious matter.
Mm-hmm.
I was just reminiscing about the last time I saw you in this form. Time has wrought such change in this world, and yet you appear just the same as ever.
That's
Time
fair.
has little bearing on one's existence, nor has one keenly felt its effects whilst dwelling at Mount Outsong. Nevertheless, Ping...
Oh, why so formal all of a sudden?
Well, approximately how much more would one need to afford a comfortable life in the harbor, not unlike the one that you yourself lead.
Alright.
It does not require as much as you may think.
Cloud Retainer, Madam Ping! What are you two talking about?
Nothing save for some trivial matters. Have you unearthed any useful details?
Xingqiu has a theory, but let's save it for when Chuyin and Miss Yuendai have joined up with us again.
That sounds reasonable enough.
Do not be troubled, young
Mhm.
lady. Here, have some tea.
Yep, and you.
Thank you so much. What do you think, Shuyu? Does it match up with what you know of your granny?
According to the story, the nameless heroine eventually fell in love with an exorcist from Mount Tianheng. I don't have many memories of him, but there was this one time I found a box in her attic full of a bunch of weird sigils. I think so too. Granny might remember something once she's returned to a familiar place.
What marvelous
Yep.
tea. I can taste the dew's sweetness in this cup. It's as if I was taking a stroll in the mountains, thoroughly one with nature and at peace.
Is that
Alright.
so? Then please drink as much as you like. There's no need to hurry. At our age, it's always nice to slow down and take the time to appreciate.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, since we have the time, can I ask you something?
Sure.
Sure thing. What would you like?
I have a secret I want to tell.
Alright. That sounds intriguing. Let's move a few feet away then. Or a few meters away.
Well, I've been kind of meaning to ask ever since we started talking in the restaurant, but are you guys all adepti in disguise?
Not all of us.
How about that?
Mhm.
Well, you guys just seem super special.
Must have been a slip of the tongue. Xianyun, since you were the one who, misspoke.
One is indeed an adeptus. Is that of some concern to you?
That's very blunt.
I knew it.
Mhm. Okay.
Well, one time when I was a little kid, I saw a pure white illuminated crane.
Mhm.
I had this super high fever, and Granny wasn't around. I was feeling all icky and gross. But then this snowy white crane flew down from the sky. She put me on her back and flew me to her cool Adeptus house and fed me some sort of magic potion. I really wanted to thank her, but I was too. So I just kind of wanted to ask if maybe any of you have ever met an Adeptus like that?
No, couldn't imagine it.
Illuminated crane? The only two we've ever met are blue and white and black and brown. Have you ever met one that's pure white, Cloud Retainer?
Never has one met an adeptus with such features. One surmises such a description is but a hyperbolic embellishment that oft results from narrative accounts.
Okay.
Weird. Well, even if it was just in my head, it doesn't matter that much anyway.
Oh, leave it to us! Now that we know the 3 locations, we just need to visit them one by one.
Yep, that sounds good.
Okay, I'll go.
That sounds good. Yep. Want you in. It's been a while because usually there's no reason at all to specifically pay this.
Wangshu Inn.
Do you remember this place, Granny?
Yes. The fish here is very delicious, and I believe I used to have a room here. It had a window. Yes, I spent a lot of time looking out that window. Which room was it again? Let me look.
Alright. Dun. Dun. Dun dun dun.
I'm still having some trouble understanding what she's talking about, but if she's so familiar with this place, that must mean she Whoa! Shao! What are you doing here all of a sudden? You scared the
I sensed a non-human presence and decided to come take a look.
Sure.
If you're here, then there's likely no trouble afoot. It's been a while, Cloud Retainer. I see you I have indeed. I fought alongside her in this form on many occasions.
Oh, wow! What was she like during the war? Oh, wait, time on, take a guess. Was it anything like this?
Behold, the glory of one
Um,
The Bang Bang!
passive imitation.
Paimon!
Even so, Cloud Retainer was not always as ostentatious as you describe.
That's
You may
fair.
be unaware, but her talent with Adepti Sigils is just as formidable as her skill in mechanic. The Archon War reached its peak after Guizhong's death. The Cloud Retainer who fought beside me in those devastating battles was taciturn and solemn.
A Cloud Retainer who barely talks? Paimon can't pick.
Once one had bid farewell to the world of mortals, what use would one still have for such a shape? When dwelling
Fair.
between mountain and forest, away from the struggles and troubles of the mortal world, a mortal form is hardly the most fitting of choices.
After the war, Cloud Retainer retired to Mount Outsong, only revealing herself to the occasional. Although I do believe there was an occasion some 30-odd years ago when she decided to don her.
One believes there is little need
Um.
to relive bygone matters.
Alright.
Granny, are you okay?
Perhaps this conversation should end here. Should you encounter any trouble, you need only call my name. However, given...
Everyone! I think Granny is finally beginning to remember her past.
Slowly now, calm your mind.
A long time ago, I stayed here to recuperate from my illness.
Okay.
So what Shinjo said was...
I don't remember. I'm very sorry, but I can't even remember the name of my illness. I was confined to my room in Wangshu Inn, where I spent many days unconscious.
That doesn't sound
I'd
great.
come to every once in a while and stare at the migrating birds outside the window. It was a solemn sight. I remember crying, but I'm not even sure I knew why.
Dun, dun.
One day, I met a traveling merchant. Upon hearing of my illness, he sold me a bottle of soul-revitalizing tea pills. He told me that the pills were concocted using Adepti blood and could be used to alleviate my symptoms. Sure enough, I made a full recovery. My illness remained dormant for several decades after that.
Wait, but if your illness remained dormant for several decades, are you saying that what you're going through now is just a relapse of what happened all those years ago?
Sounds like
And
it.
it was all thanks to the pills that you managed to keep the symptoms in check? Paimon's brain kinda hurts. Do you remember anything else?
I'm sorry, I don't. Oh, if only I wasn't so useless.
Hey, you're not useless. You've done so much for me. Watched me grow up. Raised me. How could you say that about yourself?
Oh, fret not, dear child. Granny was just a bit frustrated. That's all.
The recovery of a person's memories is a gradual process. Finding pieces of one's past is always superior to not finding anything at all. Let us make haste to the next location.
Sure.
Next location. Next location.
That works out.
Why don't we go to the area north of Dwayunkars next? There isn't really a landmark there, so where should we start? Oh, Paimon's got it. Let's check out the houses in the area first. After all, if she was there for any length of time, then she would have stayed somewhere, right? Oh, Paimon's really got her thinking cap on today. At this rate, we'll recover all of Granny Wendai's memories in no time.
Alright, let's get a move on. And I'm very curious to see if they're gonna have such long exposition even at these places. I imagine these will be shorter. Or maybe not. Dun, dun. Hold on a minute. Yeah. dun. Sure.
Nice and spicy.
Yeah, this place is way too awkward to really efficiently mine here. So let's just leave that be.
Whoa, why are there so many treasure orders here?
No idea.
Guess it's time to round up some bad guys.
Not sure, but treasure holders are easy enough to deal with at the very least. And that's an understatement. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you remember anything about...
Let me think.
Hmm.
I feel, but I don't think I stayed here too long. I might have just rested here briefly before continuing on my way.
That's possible.
That's okay. There are still plenty of other places we can check.
Wait a second. If I remember correctly,
Hmm.
I believe I brought... Ah, yes. I brought some sweet snacks with me.
Hmm.
Go on, take some. You need to eat a lot if you want to grow big and strong.
Oh, thank you.
That's fair.
Help yourself.
I will just grab this random one out of nowhere here. Like, I know this isn't even part of the quest line and everything that we're doing, but like, yeah. Let's just go ahead and just take care of this one. Mm-hmm. Yep. Here we go. So, now it's time for the next one. And let's just quickly teleport over to here. And we will be on our way. Dun. 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 Dun dun. Mm-hmm. Yep, plenty left to do.
Let's go, let's go.
Also, speaking of plenty left to do, we should go ahead and continue Satisfactory soon. Although I'm enjoying both equally well, but as well.
Why don't we take a break over there?
This place...
Did you remember something, Granny?
I remember. Shuyu, this is where your father was born.
Oh?
It was a moonless night. I had been injured, so your grandpa was supporting me. We fled together with some being in the fog behind us in hot pursuit. I had exhausted my strength when the labor pains came on, so we took refuge in this house. Your grandpa set up a barrier outside, but neither of us knew if it could hold the monsters back. I remember that night. I remember falling to my knees, reciting a prayer over and over. I alone am the source of this sin. Punish me as you wish for forsaking my oath, but spare my innocent child.
Alright.
Oath? Did you do something wrong?
Sounds
I
like
don't know.
it.
I don't remember. I only remember praying in the darkness with all my strength until the sun finally rose again and the fog cleared out. Eventually, the house was filled with the sound of my baby's first cries. That baby was your father. I remember I clutched him
All
tight
right.
to my chest and wept tears of joy.
My dad?
He was my pride and joy, and so are you, Shuyu. You're so much like him, but you're always going to be different from me.
Hmm.
I don't care what you might have done, Granny. You'll always be the person I love more.
You're too sweet, Shuyu. I'm lucky to have you with me. If not for you, I would not. All right. Let's not stand.
If one
Sure.
recalls correctly, the next place should be Qingyun Peak. Yuandai.
Well, let's get into
I
quite
may
a familiar
be a bit
place.
slow, but I'll do my best to keep up. I'm sorry to keep everyone waiting.
Hmm.
Climb on. I shall carry you to the top. Oh, such lightness of weight.
Hmm.
All those who grow old grow frail in the end, do they not? First, you lose your memory, then your health. Eventually, you end up losing everything. My only wish is to depart this world with a lucid
Jeez.
mind, to free myself of this torment and the burden it places upon others.
Hmm.
Fret not. You have my aid in this endeavor.
We're finally here. Does
Yep,
this
we
place
are.
feel familiar to you, Granny Wendai?
Let me see. How strange. Have I lived here before?
Take it
When
easy.
we were at Wangshu Inn and the abandoned house earlier, though I couldn't remember everything, I still felt a sense of familiarity. I could easily picture myself in those places. But here,
Alright.
I don't have that feeling. Perhaps I did come here in the past, but it just didn't leave a strong impression on me.
But did the stories get it wrong then?
It's possible.
Yeah, that's true. But they're also the only thing we have to go off of. Paimon was hoping this place would jog Granny Wendai's memory just like the others.
Oh,
I'm
apparently
sorry to
not the
disappoint you
case.
too.
It's alright. We're not going to give up yet.
Thank you. If only I could remember.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? That way. What's that mountain?
Paimon, look! Huh? Isn't that Mount Aotsang? Looks like we've come full circle.
Mount Aotsang.
Yep.
Mount Aotsang.
Seems to ring a bell.
Granny, are you okay? Don't push yourself, Granny. It's okay if you can't remember. You shouldn't do something that makes you sad.
Mount Aotsang, What am I really?
Mount Aotsang holds some familiarity to you?
It does.
Apparently.
But I can't go back.
Are you feeling unwell?
Alright.
My head. It feels all heavy and dizzy.
That doesn't.
Miss Xianyun, is there anything you can do?
Let us go to Mount Aotsang.
But...
Fret not, all will be well. You and I, you have already given more than enough to the pursuit of this endeavor. You may leave the rest to me. I've prepared something that can aid you in suppressing the fear in your heart and restoring your lost memories. It currently resides at Mount Aotsang.
Alright.
Wait, really? When did...
I never leave anything to chance.
Well, let's get a move on then. And let's see what in the world we have here.
Come on, just tell Paimon already! What's this thing you've prepared?
Here, this is it.
Hmm.
But isn't this the mechanism that you were tinkering with when we first got here?
Seems like it.
Another invention of yours.
Precisely. A recent one at that. I am most pleased with the result. I call it the Suspensus Somnium mechanism. It periodically releases a soft breeze, which when paired with a gentle adeptal tune, can help the listener subconsciously relax and even enter a semi-hypnotic state.
That works.
Soothing agitation and anxiety, relieving exhaustion and insomnia, its potential uses are numerous indeed. And of course, it can also aid in the recovery of lost memories.
Whoa, what a cool gadget! But if you had it all along, why did you keep it to yourself until just now? We could have put them out outsong right off the bat and saved time on a lot of floating.
I don't think that was the
Had Yuendai not recalled much of her past through her own efforts, the device would have nothing to draw upon. We Adepti can only help those who first resolve to help themselves. Had she lacked such determination and strength of character, one would have little to offer in way of assistance.
Paimon thinks she gets it now. Hey, what's that other thing?
As previously mentioned, a gentle adeptal tune is required to take full advantage of the mechanism.
That's the...
One secured such a tune from Streetward Rambler. Only with her melodies can the mechanism reach its peak power.
Whoa, Paimon can feel what you mean. Paimon's body feels light as a feather. It's as if she's lying down on a warm patch of grass after a super satisfying meal.
Of course, food.
And you,
Make an
Yuendai,
appearance.
is the mechanism helping you to relax?
Seems
It
to
appears
work.
She has already succumbed to the depths of reverie. Come, join one on this side. We shall give her some time to herself.
The drought
Yep,
is
that
over.
works out.
But why do you look like you want to cry?
The potion. It's nearly run its course.
I've never regretted meeting you. Not even for a second.
Please. Please, no.
Okay.
Have you forgotten? This is the world you left behind. One of gentle breeze and morning dew, perfectly straddled betwixt the realms of heaven and earth. This is your home. This is where you belong. You should have never left. The you of the past, the me from not that long ago. We should have never.
Oh, you know Cloud Return, do you?
So that is the truth. No wonder this place is so familiar.
Granny! Granny, are you okay?
Seems to
Cloud
be.
Retainer.
Your memories have returned.
Wait, did you just call her by her full name? Does that
Yep.
mean you already knew each other?
Yes.
Sounds like it.
I now remember everything. Everything. Granny, please don't cry. I'm here. I'm here. Oh, don't worry, my dear child. Granny is fine.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry,
Misunderstanding.
everyone.
Right.
You've gone to so much trouble on my behalf. It's all come back to me now. The most important thing that I had forgotten was the truth of what I once was.
Oh?
One can sense the guilt that now plagues your conscience. Reclaiming a truth long buried is sure to come with a myriad of complex emotions. Perhaps one should recount the story on your behalf while you compose yourself.
No, it's okay. Now that I've remembered, I must face my memories head on. Shuyu, everyone, I cannot thank you enough for all your help. I'm ready to tell you my story, if you're willing to listen.
Please, Granny, don't force yourself. What happened in the past doesn't matter. I love you more than anything. Nothing you say can change that.
I
know, dear
don't
child.
think that's what she
My
means.
feelings for you are exactly the same. It is for this reason that you deserve to know the truth. Some
All
time
right.
ago, I made a terrible mistake. One for which I could never atone.
Is
Okay.
this the sin that you mentioned in Dwayun Karst? What happened?
I am, in truth, not a human being. My real form, one that I held for centuries, was that of a wild crane. I spent many, many years living on Mount Outsong, bathing in the soft breeze and drinking the sweet dew of the mountains. At some point, I somehow gained wisdom and sentience. The Lord of the Mountain, Cloud Retainer, became aware of my existence and began to share many stories with me. She even passed on the secret of cultivation to me. Though she never took me on as a formal disciple, I always saw her as my master. Whenever she took out her tools to work on mechanisms or new inventions, I would also stand next to her and watch. I even contemplated completing my training and becoming an adeptus in my own right. I followed her teachings, and time gradually passed us by. Until that fateful day 50 years ago.
Oh,
50 years ago?
painful day?
That's right. Master regaled me with many stories of her past deeds. From them, I learned how she had saved people from a similar crisis in the past. She was the one I looked up to the most. More than anything, I dreamt of becoming an adeptus like her. I wanted to
And
travel the
did?
land like she
Or didn't
had,
you?
relieving suffering wherever I went. But I was still far from being a real adeptus. I possessed no ability to take on human form and fit in with the crowd. Once she learned of my desires, Master prepared a special dose of human mimicry potion for me. She warned me that the potion's effects would only last 10 years, and if I were to fail to return to my original form at the end of that time, I would forever forget my past as a crane and become something neither human, beast, nor adeptus.
Oh no. So that was the source of your dementia all along.
And that was how long ago?
Was it because of Grandpa?
Indeed, I fell in love. Though he was human, he had spent his entire life training on Mount Tianheng. When we met, it was not only my first foray into the world below, but his as well. Although clumsy and impulsive as he was, you'd think he was the real strange bird among the two of us. But still, just like me, he cared deeply about the world and wanted, more than anything, to cleanse it of all pain and suffering. I could not help but fall for him. But my time continued to tick away. Those 10 years passed by in a flash. Yet I did not want to leave his side, so
Oh no. What happened next?
I committed an offense.
Oh?
I wanted to stay with him, even if it meant living a life full of pain and suffering, even if it meant that I would eventually turn into a monstrosity. I knew I had betrayed Master's hopes, but I was too ashamed to face her. So I wrote her a long letter instead and asked someone to leave it outside her abode. I was convinced that she would not support my decision, and I lacked the courage to speak to her face to face. In my shame, I fled and tried to hide from the world, such that no one would be able to find me again.
So that's
That was
why.
only the beginning of my troubles. I began to suffer from a strange illness. My memories became hazy and confused, and I could no longer keep myself awake. I understood that my pain was caused by my refusal to return to the life I was fated to lead. Along with my memories as a crane, I soon forgot the true cause of my suffering as well. I knew only that I had committed a sin. All I could do was pray for forgiveness, even if I had long forgotten what needed to be forgiven.
Alright.
I was beyond lucky to have come across that traveling merchant at Wangshu Inn. It was such a fortunate coincidence that we were there at the same time. If it weren't for those soul-revitalizing tea pills, I probably would have...
Granny, what's wrong?
Coincidence? Why did I ever think it was a coincidence? Tea pills concocted using the blood of an Adeptus? No, it couldn't be. Master, don't tell me. Back then, that merchant was actually...
Human custom would dictate the conferral of gifts to be in order when one's progeny is wedded, would it not? Consider the pills a symbol of one's best wishes.
So when I tried to conceal my name and mistakes from the world and hide myself away in perpetuity, the only person I managed to deceive was myself. You knew where I was all along.
That seems to be the case.
When you were but a fledgling, you possessed a certain fondness for a particular game. You would hide yourself among a group of wild cranes and ask one to pick you out from among the flock. One found you with such ease every time. Tis a truth most evident. One always recognizes one's own, no matter what form they may take.
Wait! Paimon's confused!
Yeah, go on, Paimon.
You found Yuendai again? But how? When? And what happened after that?
Perhaps it is now time for one to recount the rest of the tale.
Alright.
One was furious upon receiving your letter. Seized with anger, one set out to bring you to your senses.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Seems like she has a catalyst weapon. Let's see where this story leads us.
One had more than a few misgivings about your chosen partner. As an exorcist, his talent was lacking. One could hardly say his skill with sigils was any better. But soon, one came to appreciate the devotion he bestowed upon you during your illness. He never uttered a complaint and rarely left your side. Unwilling to begrudge someone of such character, one decided to overlook his aforementioned deficiencies, glaring though they may have been. Wishing to grant you a life without regrets, one gathered many divine ingredients and used one's own blood to create a form of medicine. Though imperfect, it managed to suppress the more dire effects of your illness. As for how to deliver the medicine, after much contemplation, one eventually decided to perform the deed oneself. One
That works
took great
out.
care to alter one's features and select the appropriate attire. Only after meticulous scrutiny did one finally set out for Wangshu Inn. As one expected, you were most ignorant of one's true identity. You showed not even the slightest inkling of recognition. One was quite torn. Should one have celebrated the success of one's disguise, or mourn the loss of your acquaintance?
That's fair, I suppose. So that happened, and then where did one go? Back home, it seems, in the Adeptus realm. This transition is pretty cool, like using the cave here as a subtle entrance. Well, not really subtle, but like, you know what I mean. I think it's pretty well thought out.
To you about another matter, if you are amenable, even considering your loss of memory. One was simply flabbergasted that you could so easily forget the consequences of consuming medicine infused with Adeptal blood. Its proclivity to attract monsters is hardly that complicated of a concept to remember. To think that you tried to travel while weak from sickness and heavy with child. Had one not intervened to clear the fog, all of you would have been lost during the night.
Well, these are pretty basic monsters. Yep, make way for the Adeptus indeed. Yep, indeed. Let us all seize the skies. That works out nicely.
Those monsters would hardly have pursued you with such ferocity without sufficient incentive. They were likely incited by the presence of godly remains.
Godly remains, you say?
Said godly remains, in turn, were likely drawn to the trace of one scent on your body. One was, after all, an active participant in the Archon War.
Yep.
Some of the gods were likely shattered by contraptions of one's very making. In the end, one was relieved to see you endure through the night. At the break of dawn, one heard an infant's cry pierce through the air, and one saw you carefully cradle the child to your chest. Although certain mortal matters remain foreign to me, one could not help but be moved by your joy. To see you happy, that was more than enough.
That's fair enough, I suppose. And what happened next? That is what one really wants to know.
But if that's true, then the man who took care of me when I was sick must also be...
One had almost neglected to recount the absurdities of that tale.
Yep. I need to go in or not? Okay, I need to specifically go this way.
Just as you and I troubled one with her antics, so did you give one many a headache. Upon finding you burning with fever, one made plans to bring you back to one's abode for treatment. However, upon seeing one's form, you began to cry, refusing to get on one's back. When one asked you why, apparently you believed that one could not possibly be a true Adeptus, because all illuminated cranes are white from tip to toe. One had no choice but to apply powder to one's body to conceal the variegated nature of one's appearance. You became more than amenable enough when one stood before you devoid of any other coloring. It bears mentioning, however, that as a crane, Yuendai was nearly entirely pure white in color. Though you had never encountered her in that form, you still recognize the essence of her being. Perhaps fate brought you two
Interesting.
together in more ways than one.
Possible. And there we go. We're back in the race.
Now all has been revealed. One owes you an apology, Yuendai. One recognized you upon your very entrance into Wanmin Restaurant. One has always viewed you as a disciple of equal standing with Ganyu and Shenhe. Indeed, one wished to bring your story to a... Still, one could not reveal your identity right away. Had one simply informed you of all you had lost, all those cherished memories are most meaningful when recalled by those who lived through them. Would you not agree?
Master, I must ask. If you found me all those years ago, why did you leave me be, even though you knew about my mistake? Why did you not bring me back to Mount Outsong by force?
One has never regarded your action. When it is time for one's progeny to leave the nest, it is the responsibility of an elder to let them fly free. Yet, when your wings grow weary and the night grows dark, just know that you always have a place to which to return.
That's
'Tis a
fair.
refuge referred to by many a name in mortal writing. Home, nest, haven, whatever its denomination. One speaks, of course, of a place not unlike one's own abode. One's disciples are free to come and go as they wish, yet the door remains forever open to those who wish to return.
That's fair.
One rather hopes you count yourself among them.
Thank
You and I. One expects you too have sensed the rapid deterioration of your condition as of late. 40 years ago, you chose a path without a future. Though one used one's own blood to provide you with a few decades of extra time, it merely delayed the inevitable. One may have extended the path. Even the power of an Adeptus has its limits.
That's fair.
Had your condition continued to deteriorate, you would have forgotten your life as a human entirely. In the end, you would have turned into a creature lacking in the ability to even comprehend its own monstrousness. Fortunately, you were able to avoid that scenario by reclaiming your memories. Though one sped the process along by providing some guidance, one will help her reclaim her original form as a wild crane. If it be fated, she may recover her sentience one day.
That's
She's
fair.
Go back to being a regular crane, huh?
Sounds like it.
Master, you've already done more than enough for me. I don't know how I could possibly repay your kindness. This is a better result than I could have ever hoped for. How much time do... Granny? Please don't leave, okay? Don't be sad, dear child. Granny has led a wonderful life. My only regret is having to leave you behind.
Fair.
Don't forget to eat well, okay? A growing young lady like yourself needs lots of good food to grow big and strong. Promise Granny you'll take good care of yourself when I'm gone. I promise, Good girl. Good girl. Don't worry. I won't stop until I can turn into a human without having to rely on anything but my own power. When that day comes,
That sounds
we'll
fair
be able
enough.
to live together again. You and I. That's a good girl. Even though we won't see each other for a little while. I'll eat well, Granny. I promise. And I'll wait for you, no matter how long it takes.
Will probably take a while.
Come back. That's a good girl. Then Granny really has no more regrets. I'm so sorry, Master. Thank you for everything.
Mm-hmm. Pringle.
Shiryu.
Let her be.
Hmm?
At her age, crying is a natural, if not fitting, response to such an event. Tears are a necessary part of maturation. Sometimes there is scarcely a better vehicle to wash away the toll of stress and misery. Now that the issue has been resolved,
Hmm?
you should also take...
Sure. Issue has been resolved indeed.
I always believed we would see each other again. That our days of separation would finally end. And all my troubles would be behind me.
I don't think today is that day though. Honestly.
If only things could stay this way forever.
Yeah, they cannot currently. Then...
A nightmare?
Hmm.
Curious. If you're relaxed, shouldn't your dreams be pleasant?
It was a good dream. It's just...
You weren't ready to wake up. Eloquent as one may be, words of comfort are not one's strong suit. You are doing all you can. One can see your strength of will, your fearlessness in the face of danger. And so, whatever your dream may be, one believes that you shall achieve it. Of course, whenever the perils you face overwhelm you, or you become weary, one is always here for you. After all, as an elder, it is only right to look out for the young ones.
I'm not even sure the exact of the traveler, but okay. Of course, your dream was for...
Was Paimon sleeping just now?
Yes.
Madam. Oh, Shiryu, you're awake. I feel... Madam,
And have you reasons for this sudden interest?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I know Granny thought what she did back then was wrong, but without that, even though Granny lost her memories, she never. I could become a cool adeptus like you and help a whole.
Upon some reflection, one supposes you are no mere mortal.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Yuendai's blood flows through your veins is proof enough of that. If this is what you desire, one shall make it so.
Thank you so much, Madam Adept.
Chuyu, are you? Paimon's gonna let you in on a little secret. We've seen Cloud Retainer's 2 other disciples, and they pretty much eat nothing. If you join them, you'll never enjoy One Min Restaurant's delicious cooking ever again.
How utterly preposterous. Every individual must find their own path to enlightenment.
Well, you say that, but Paimon's not seeing any tasty treats.
Although Mount Outsong is rich in natural beauty, its location does preclude access to certain finer mortal comforts. That is precisely why one plans to relocate to Liyue Harbor.
Really?
You shall have the honor of...
Whoa! You're leaving Mount Outsong?
One has never concerned oneself with the location of one's residence. From the very beginning, one has sought only solace and peace. Yet in the end, all of one's disciples ended up in Liyue Harbor. Ganyu, Shenhe, Yuendai. One has reflected on this fact for many years now. One can only assume that it is due to some failing on one's part as an elder or master. A failing, perhaps, of recognizing what it was they truly wanted. One is most curious as to what aspect of Liyue Harbor could have enticed them to remain there. Why are you all so silent?
Paimon is...
yeah.
a bit shocked, that's all.
Bit flabbergasted.
We can grab a meal together in Liyue Harbor sometime?
Sounds like it.
One has precious little time to squander. However, if one finds oneself otherwise unoccupied, one would not be opposed to the idea.
He's not opposed at all.
One will be assuming the identity of a human while residing.
Don't worry, we'll help you keep it a secret. So, when...
Perhaps in 2 days' time. One has some matters to see to before one's departure. Preparation is the key to success. One has already picked out a handsome property.
Seems like you've really thought of... Then, how about we...
A sensible plan. Oh, also, why don't you
that
take
works
the
out.
Suspensus Somnium mechanism as a souvenir?
Just the entire thing as a souvenir.
You may try quieting your mind and sitting at...
Awesome! Hey, didn't we promise Shincho that we'd tell him what we found out?
Wait until 2 days later. Alright. Luckily we have a way of making that way easier. Dun dun dun. Although this animation does take quite a long time if you set it the maximum value possible. Although it doesn't take too long, still.
I wasn't waiting for you.
Let's go ahead and get over here and quickly swing by the Adventure Guild as well.
Commerce Guild? It's totally up to you.
Yeah. There's no reason not to, right?
Ad Astra. Thank you for
Let's go ahead and claim these. Claim all of these. Nice little bonuses. And we'll dispatch them all again. Go do it again.
Your concerns are excessive and unfounded.
Alright.
This is but a simple collection of ordinary valuables. Such intense scrutiny is hardly necessary.
To be quite honest, your insistence on that fact is my... In what way are any of these ordinary? Every single item here could be worth more than everything I own.
Of course.
I simply can't risk shelling out that kind of mora without proper scrutiny. If I'm wrong, I would never be able to earn it back. Not even if I worked ever. I have to be careful. Yes, you...
We're here, Cloud. Miss Shenyan, what are you...
Perfect timing. this ignoramus. I'll have you know, these items have remained untouched in my
several.
Indeed. They're family heirlooms.
Yep, they've definitely been around a while.
Hear that?
Mhm.
Had I not found myself in need of Mora,
Of
I would
course.
scarcely have had the heart to part with them. Indeed, you should doubt their authenticity any further.
Whoa! Please don't go. I apologize for any insult, miss. You see,
an expert, you say? Very well. I will wait for a little while longer then. Traveler,
Master! Oh, it's you two again.
Yep.
Hello. Shoo-you! You got a new app? Master made it for me. I like...
Huh? You know how to make clothes?
Do I know how to make clothes? With the support of the proper mechanism, sewing is hardly a challenge.
Fair.
Master, I brought in most of my stuff. There's a few boxes left, but they're kind of heavy.
Fret not. I shall help you move them into your room.
Actually, I should probably sort through my stuff a bit first.
It appears my young apprentice has her own fair share of secrets.
I don't think.
Matter.
I
Do what
think
you
they're
must.
trivial.
Now, this expert you mentioned. When can we expect her?
Soon. Here, allow me to make some introductions.
Ah.
This is Mr. Zhang Li, a well-respected consultant
Yeah.
at Longsheng Funeral Parlor and an expert in all manner of valuables and antiques.
Yeah,
Mr.
he's
Zhang
an
Li,
expert.
This is Miss Shen Yun. She's the one who's looking to sell the.
Huh.
If it isn't Miss Shenyun.
Yep.
It's been quite some time since our last meeting. What a serendipitous reunion.
Indeed, most serendipitous.
Quite well, thank you. I was fortunate enough over the past few days to enjoy both a stroll in the mountains and a fresh brew of tea from the most recent harvest. The experience...
So you two are already acquainted?
Yeah, they are.
Indeed. How fortunate we are that fate has brought us together again. If you are otherwise unaware, allow me to inform you that Miss Shenyun is a well-regarded collector and appraiser. She is well-versed in all fields, and oft-celebrated for her impeccable taste. You stand to gain much from this opportunity.
You are too kind, Mr. Zhongli. True collectors pride themselves on their wealth of knowledge and eye for detail. I can say without a doubt that you are foremost in that regard.
Why, you flatter me, Miss Shenyun. It would seem that you are as self-effacing as ever.
Not at all, Mr. Zhongli. Not at all.
Alright.
While I am loath to butt into this conversation, I must ask, you two already knew each other, and you seem to have quite a cordial relationship. Can I be certain that you're not working together to...
Alright, to swindle.
I mean, you never know.
Fair.
A preposterous accusation. The heavens themselves would collapse before we would conspire to do such a thing.
Miss Shenyun speaks the truth. Contracts are built on honesty and trust.
Yep.
If that proves to be beyond your capabilities in this instance, this transaction may be taken elsewhere.
Say no more. Let us depart.
Yep, that works.
I jest. What fool would still harbor doubts after Mr. Zhongli himself has vouched for the goods? Miss Shenyun, wait!
Yeah.
I deeply apologize for doubting you. So,
There is no cause for concern. They are indeed rare and precious valuables. Take this mechanism, for instance. Though one may not immediately perceive its purpose, its structure and appearance are the same can be said for this one here. Few could hope to possess an item that's so perfect. I am sure you have heard from your travels that the study of mechanisms is among the most wondrous arts in this world. With that in mind, I earnestly recommend procuring every last item in this collection.
all right.
That's fair.
Since I hired you as my consultant, Mr. Zhongli, I shall, of course, trust your good opinion. Then, in that case, Miss Shenyun, I'll take the lot. However, since the final sum is quite large, how about we start with an initial deposit through the Northland Bank?
The Northland Bank?
That's fair.
Huh. Oh, you refer to the fiduciary house. Oh, very well.
That works out.
I fear people only use the term bank nowadays. In that case, I'll be off for now. I'll return to collect the goods once you've...
Xiangli!
Yeah.
My friends, have you been doing well?
Mm-hmm.
We've been great. How about you? Paimon didn't know you were such a busy consultant.
Seems like it.
My days have been quite pleasant as well. I had been quietly enjoying a cup of tea when Mr. Xiaozu requested my services. As for you, Miss
That's
Shen,
fair.
I presume you must be looking to settle in the city?
I must say, the name Shenyun sounds exceedingly strange coming from you.
Yep.
Perhaps you could dispense of that particular epithet and further...
Whatever for. Am I not addressing you as a friend should?
Well, that is true, but... Alas, refer to me however you will. After all, a name exists such that others may address you with it. One is
That
hardly
sounds fair
ignorant of
enough.
that fact.
It would seem that you have gained many valuable insights over the years, Cloud Retainer.
One has indeed.
Yep.
One's previous days were all brief. Now that one has made up one's mind to move and settle, one has gained a much better appreciation of the hubbub and commotion of the city, as well as the people's hard work and ardor. This
Intriguing.
city is much changed from how it was more than 1,000 years ago.
That makes
Not
sense.
unlike the ocean tides, so too shall the movement of people ebb and flow. From turmoil to peace, enlightenment to aspiration. Human society possesses limitless potential. In another 1,000 years, the scene we witness here may change in ways that are impossible for either of us to imagine.
Yep.
That's enough reflection for one day. No need to get all sentimental on us.
You make a valid point, Paimon. Now that the sale has concluded, what say one plays the host as we try some specialty dishes together? One must profess great interest in trying bamboo shoot soup.
Alright.
Perhaps you have forgotten, Cloud Retainer, but I once tried my hand at that dish. You were at the table on that occasion.
Oh?
It was a reunion between friends several centuries ago.
Several centuries,
Alas,
of course.
You must have been too preoccupied to secure yourself a portion. Or perhaps our other companions simply availed themselves of faster reflex.
Hardly. 'Twas most certainly out of consideration for the others in attendance. But it is settled then. Bamboo shoot soup, mora meat, crab roe tofu, triple... One has already passed word to Shenhun Ganyu to make a reservation.
It should be a most splendid...
Shu Yu, come now, it is time to dine. Ah, this gentleman over here is Mr. Zhang Li. He is,
a humble employee of Wangsheng Funeral Parlor.
Yep.
Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Nice to meet you too, Mr.
That should be everyone, right?
Sounds good. Actually, Master, have you ever tried Adeptus' temptation? I heard it's impossible to stop eating after even just...
that sounds rather implausible. Although with the right preparation, certain dishes...
Huh? Why are you all walking so fast? Hey, wait for Paimon!
It's...
Hey, wait up!
That's rare that we need to wait for you. Quest complete. Battle Punks, rank 8. Well, let's see how we're doing for the next one, because I want to try to get 32 and 2 saved up over there. We should have quite a decent. Let's see. Then makes the most. Inactivating speed thing. Yeah, let's just go ahead. Activate that. So, man, might be better. I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. I think that makes the most sense. Given all. Done. Done. Dun 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 dun. Well, let's go ahead and read it to the say hello for me in the chat and have a great of your day. Bye bye. Yeah, I was thinking about starting another one, but like, there's no point in doing that, because, well, wouldn't even be able to really get started, and that would just leave you guys hanging, which I don't feel like doing today. So, anyway, a great rest of your day, and bye bye. Great time. Go, go, go.